So the crowd have been filling in across the course of the last 45 minutes. It's perfect time for an after-work pint, isn't it? And this is the setting they get to behold whilst doing so. And there will be a little bit of rugby in the middle. So let's have a look at the Saracens team. 31 players in the squad who will be taking to the field. I'm sure all of them will be getting on. Plenty of changes coming back and forth. So many changes that blank shirts will be required. So it could be quite a bit of chaos tonight in London in terms of keeping across Ulster and Saracens. And here is Ulster's team as well. Ulster bringing back some really big guns, the likes of Robert Baloucoune on the right wing, Michael Lowry, James Hume, Stuart Moore in the centre, and of course Billy Burns at fly half, and John Cooney as well. Cooney, a player who has made his return after neck injury sustained in the Challenge Cup semi-finals last season against Leicester, and Cooney a real live wire at scrum half, someone to watch out for. He's been tearing up trees for Ulster in recent seasons, and the immense amount of substitutes that we are able to bring onto the pitch across the course of today. Not the normal rules, of course. It's a little bit more free-flowing, and game time at this point in a shortened pre-season all important. Mark McCall, Kevin Sorrell, Joe Shaw. There are some fine brains at work behind Saracens, and Saracens, a team which don't just look inward for inspiration, they've also looked outwards in recent times. Perhaps some of you caught the news that the Crusaders have been consulted by Saracens during the lockdown. The likes of Richie Mo'unga and Manu Vunipola are able to swap stories about attacking patterns and how to disrupt a defence. And their attacking shape against Ulster last week seemed good. They managed to put together a splendid first half against Ulster, and nothing that the Northern Irishmen could do would stop the Saracens jerseys from crashing over the line. Really strong first half performance. Well, it was Ulster that got the first try through Matty Ray. It's just a nice stroll over some rather nice grounds. This will be the outfield when cricket is played here at the HAC. I'm sure Saracens are told to keep their studs away from the wicket. Here comes Jackson Ray, captain this evening. And such a formidable year in, year out performer for Saracens on the blind side. Shot there of Marco Riccioni, who has shrugged off an injury to make the side this evening. Alec Clary, who was originally down to start at the tight head, is on the bench, and Riccioni, the Italian international, a new signing, is making the squad. So exciting to see some of the new faces in the team outperforming, and there is someone who has came to prominence last season. Aled Davies was just superb in last season in the Championship. He looks to have nailed down that 9 jersey. Alex Lozowski partnering him at 10, of course, tonight. Exciting matchup at half-back for Saracens, and Ulster's Billy Burns gets us underway in central London. Tim Swinson, the tower block, who performs every week in the Championship. Players' Player of the Year last season, Tim Swinson. He has a clean take to begin proceedings. Davies looks to play, so does Lozowski, just chipping it forward. Maitland was looking for the ball. So Carl Dixon is our referee. We didn't have time to introduce Mr. Dixon. In this pre-season match, as all pre-season matches are being done, played under some of the new rules, of course, the 50-22 rule, as well as goal line dropouts. We've not yet seen one goal line dropout. Speaking to some of the officials before the match, and they're saying, so far in pre-season, it just hasn't happened. So if we see that this afternoon, we'll be seeing the first time that is taking place in the Northern Hemisphere under the new rules. And to tick off. So Saracens tie things up, and Alex Lewington comes off his wing to offer himself as Davies is calmly letting the black shirts creak through the middle of Ulster. It was a strength of Ulster's last week in Ravenhill. Their rolling wall, the source of 3 tries for the Northern Irishmen. So that's working out nicely for Saracens. Strong beginning from the pack. So all the way up to Ulster's 22 go Sarries. Fantastic position this for Saracens to try and work at huge open field. Davies to Lewington, and then on to Tomkins and Morris. Nice beginning for the centres, just combining. Lozowski puts this in behind. Rotimi Segun was after it. Ulster's cover was good, and a chance for the fans on that far side to experience this level of rugby up as close as you can get. It's just a small ticker tape which separates fans on that side from the thick of the action. Access that you really get at lower levels in rugby these days. Quality of this sort. And Alex Lozowski back from Montpellier, where he played so well in the second half of the season, making his first start in Saracens colours since that loan move. It wasn't all fun in games in the south of France for Lozowski. First half of the season was a tirade of difficulties, and he came through it. It'll be fascinating to see how he runs today. Manu Vunipola on the bench as well, and Owen Farrell resting up at the moment. Saracens penalty coming. 8 collapse by Ulster, so Ulster's Nick Timoney, the man at fault for the visitors.
Dumping themselves on me. Yep, okay, of course. Yeah, of course.
There are a couple more fixtures coming up for Saracens, but they're running concurrently with the Premiership. Saracens Storm will be in action twice against Bedford Blues and then Ealing Trailfinders, which will give players in the wider squad opportunities to play their way into Mark McCall's minds. The next match after this for Saracens,
8 claps.
it is against Bristol at Ashton Gate in the first round of the Premiership. Amazing to think that it's been less than
10.
a year since Saracens were last seen in the Premiership.
More.
It was their final match of the season against Bath.
Over
Of course,
15.
completed in the Championship last season and
Down by block.
winning that at a canter in the end. And Ulster on alerts already. Saracens swarming. Nice looking blindside developing as well, and Dixon.
Goal line drop out. Goal line drop out.
Has awarded the goal line dropout. So, now this is new. Carl Dixon awards what we think is the first goal line dropout since the new laws have come in England. The drive to the line, of course, by Ben Earl. He's held up. Great work from Robert Ballacoon. and instead of an attacking scrum, it then is a goal line dropout. So those laws, I'm sure we'll get very used to them across the course of this season. But right now it feels very awkward, doesn't it? Goal line dropout after Earl driving for the line. Changes things somewhat. Here is Earl again. Such a pacey back rower. Great to see him back in Saracens colours after his loan move at Bristol, and Lozowski is shaping nicely in the number 10 jersey for Saracens this afternoon. 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗙𝗥 awarding the penalty. Line out disrupted, and Saracens knock it on. Ulster get a break for the first time in the match. It's been one-way traffic. We'd like to say we're beaming to you from the BT Tower, but of course we aren't. In fact, I think no one does beam from the BT Tower anymore. That side of it no longer in use. And Saracens now on the defensive. Ulster's back row of Timoney, Reedy and Jones, bolstered by returning Timoney. Greg Jones at number 8 last week, and having a pretty good game actually, making a nice break through the middle and causing Saracens a few problems early on. And Reedy, the veteran of the back row for Ulster, 32 years old, Auckland born, and a grandfather from County Kerry. Came over to Ulster in 2014, picking up his 2 Ireland caps back in 2017. If you are tuning in from Ulster, we're delighted to have you along. Thank you very much for joining. I'm sure you enjoyed some of the selections that were made this week, and some of the players rewarded. Bradley Roberts in the number 2 shirt, in the red hair and the mullet, given a starting role after impressing from the bench last week. A circuitous route to this point in his rugby career. Bradley Roberts, South African, hails from Durban, moved to Wales after school, then back to South Africa for university rugby, before moving to Rainy Old Boys in Londonderry in 2017, and from there he was noticed and picked up, and danger lurking for Saracens this time, and Tomkins looks to turn that around and gets on his bike. Morris, his centre partner, helps secure the ball. Jackson, Ray, Lozowski. Saracens were right in the rhythm of things early on in Ravenhill, and everything being put together in the right place at the moment. Marco Riccioni.
No second bite! Thank you,
his hands on the ball. The Italian international. Ben Earl with space to choose his option. Lozowski again.
No, ball's lifted.
Lewington, who's
knock on.
Seen a lot of the action so far, Alex Lewington, on the right wing. Can't secure that ball back.
Oh no, front!
So the centre half-back partners
Riding
of
over.
Ulster's, John Cooney and Billy Burns, make the most of that turnover ball. Splendid kick.
50-22.
Is that going to be a 50-22? It is.
50-22.
So plenty of the new laws
50-22
being seen this afternoon. First the goal line dropout, and now
Yeah,
we've seen a 50-22.
Thanks for that.
So the reason why this is a Ulster line-out is because they kicked the ball from inside their own half, and it landed or exited the pitch inside Saracens 22 after bouncing. That's a new law being brought in this season.
Down by gold on this side.
And it means that more attacking kicks will be rewarded. Early signs are that it is having a real effect on the game and on players' positioning. And also on their intention.
Don't need a break. Don't need a break. Here we go. Let's go. There's the marks. Let's make them
far more
appropriately. There we go.
Thought and consideration as to how a 50-22 might be created.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Saracens' scrum is good. Although Carl Dixon spots something he doesn't like, and has a second thing he doesn't like in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
7, you've joined the front row.
Yellow
You cannot
card
do that.
for Saracens is hulking lock.
Jackson, 7 cannot join the front row, make it 4. 7, join the front row, made it 4 players.
So Ulster nabbed the first try last week in Ravenhill from this position, bundling over the line with McIlroy. After soaking up all that pressure early on, can they do it again?
Early
Greg Jones
number 8.
takes the ball off Bradley Roberts' throw, and Roberts looks to wrestle his arms on, and this is opening up for Roberts. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Lozowski stop him. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 putting his full weights to work there.
That's absolutely fine, but the first offence is early on the lifter. You don't have to kick it because it was at the line out. If you want to say the line out, do it the same place here. 8, early on the lifter. Line out call. Must let them land first.
So looking at that again, opened up for Roberts just for a moment. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with a great read, and then folded backwards.
Oh.
Roberts to Jones.
More!
Again, the axis works. Saracens pile in, and Riccioni lends his weight this time. Lewington is having to fill in. It's coming out wide here. Try for Ulster. Nick Timoney. And it was a simple mismatch created after blow in previous phases. Nick Timoney out of Blackrock College and St Mary's. That's where he hails from originally in his rugby career, but Ulster these days, and this was nice from Timoney. He must have licked his lips as he saw Alan Davies lining up against him.
Just where it sort of turns.
Saracens pulled one way then the other.
Oh, no,
By Ulster.
Anything, lads? Right.
No, it's all good, mate. We're just talking. It's a good positive picture at the scrum. Ulster are slightly behind, but they're staying in the fight really well. They're not going illegal.
John Cooney lining this up. The top point scorer in the top 14 last year, John Cooney, gets his first successful conversion of the night. And how good it must be for Ulster fans back home to be seeing John Cooney in action again. And extremely encouraging work again from the forwards. They muscled up very well last week and started off strongly again this Thursday evening.
please.
Well, 15 minutes in, and Ulster
Out of the ball.
will be the most encouraged by the beginning, soaking up that pressure. Saracens a little lacking in precision when they had the opportunity.
Tackle now.
And Ulster made them pay. And in no small way was that to do with a splendid 50-22 kick by Billy Burns. So just an example of the type of change that rule can make to the game across the course of this season. In this case, it's resulted in a full 7 points for Ulster.
Let's go then. Okay. Good, let's go. Here's a mark. Let's go. Front. Good. Come on. Scruff it. No. Scruff it. Again, come on. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Saracens front row this evening, by the way. Riccioni, Tom Woolstencroft and Ralph Adams-Hale
yes,
on our
please.
blind side.
Take him back in.
Now Ulster bringing away nicely. Now Burns cuts into midfield, and the blue scrum hat of Mick Carney. Just 2 weeks ago he joined Ulster, getting his second run-outs in Ulster colours. Played well last week actually, Mick Carney. Burns goes right down the throat of Sean Maitland.
Hold now, Black.
Eagerly gobbled up and applies in kind. Taken by Michael Lowry. Lowry looks to work some footwork, the youngster, and finds 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗏. Really nice from Ulster's full back and wing. Burns flipped over. And this is Bradley Roberts running into Jackson Ray, and hardly
that
feeling
tackle ended up high. Penalty only,
the other way
the arm
around.
ended up high.
From Black.
From Black, yes.
High tackle.
Started on the chest and then it made contact.
So Saracens at the moment, I'm sure
Started his chest, then went up to his
Saracens
head.
fans feeling the frustration
Attack.
of the errors which are holding them back at the moment. What a pass this is though. Bradley Roberts holding his depth so well. Saw a similar shot from Bernal last week, where an Ulster player flew out of the line and Earl just threw him away. And this time it's Bradley Roberts doing it to Jackson Ray.
Okay. Happy? Yep. Okay. Medics off then.
Carl, there's another guy here getting treatment just to your left.
Yep, okay, climb back off, don't worry. It's going to back.
Mark McCall was just making the point before kick-off on the sidelines just before our interview that it's a pretty small dead ball line, dead ball area here, but it's pretty small at the 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 Stadium as well. So dimensions-wise, pretty similar.
Okay, you good? Yep. Okay.
And there is Ralph Adams-Hale.
Make sure you wait for him to land before you.
He's had such injury troubles through the years, or recent years, Ralph Adams-Hale, but came back last season. Someone who the club believed greatly in, securing his signature during one of his injury troubles, and re-signing him for a multiple-year deal. Faith shown in the young man. Here goes Roberts. Good feed onto his centre. Coming onto that was Stuart Moore, the 22-year-old. Ulster knocking on the door again, and Mick Carney, Woolstencroft, gets him down in the end. Switch of play. This is nice from Ulster. Burns, and now another overlap, this time for Craig Gilroy. Reaching, hits the line. Ulster have a second. Craig Gilroy with the try.
Lads will place after you've landed.
It's proving a fantastic one for some of the secret laws in the game. 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗨 just saying no double movement, places allowed. Didn't get the ball where he needed it, did he? Made the most of that. The most experienced finisher in Ulster's backline, and he knew what he had to do with Lozowski chopping him round the waist. Enough power from the 10 times Irish international.
How have you got going, Joe? Clock's good, mate.
So not the expected start, I think it's fair to say.
There you go.
Not the start which everyone who's come out for an afternoon pint in support of Saracens would like to see. But Ulster playing some really nice rugby, and they have the killer instinct at the moment.
It's that big thing in the corner that's counting up. Yeah, I know. It's stopping my watch. Ben's got another minute and a half now. Okay, thanks.
John Cooney does it again. 14 points up, go Ulster. Their good start continues. What a turnaround from last week. Good work from Mick Carney up the middle.
Oh, 1 minute.
And Billy Burns pulling the strings lovely into the pocket, and Gilroy on hand. Decent clearance into Saracens' half. Overthrow, and Roberts again is bundling players out the way. Davies this time hits the turf after the hooker gets ahead of Steamer. Nice step on the inside. Now Baloucoune gets a chance to jig and dance. Just get an idea for how devastating he can be when he comes onto the ball at pace. Had that with no room to work with. Ulster showing much more attacking intent, and Saracens' defensive line not quite as organised as it was last week.
Ben's coming on at the line out. Ben's coming on at the line out. He's coming on at the line out. He's on. Use the line, please. Lads, if you close again, I'm a free kick you, okay? Stay on the line. On the line, it's really clear.
𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗨 ended his career as a player at Harlequins, former scrum half, of course. He's been reffing pretty much since he hung up his boots. Taking charge of this one, and
hold in front
has a
now,
good empathy
stop.
for the game.
Thank
𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗨. Lewington claims well. Someone who we heard on co-commentary quite a bit last season, Alex Lewington. It was always enjoyable to have his company with us. I think it's fair to say more enjoyable to see him out on the pitch, doing what he does. And on this occasion it's chasing Alan Davies' box kick. Claimed well though. Billy Burns coming forward. Ball is quick in the hands of Sean Reedy. Adams-Hale.
Knocked on first on the floor. Knocked on by yellow on the floor.
And Saracens will have it back from the scrum. The pitch here is in such terrific condition.
Okay,
It's going to cut up a little bit.
Knocking on the floor by yellow.
As it's
okay, time off then, please.
Such a good track that
we good?
it not being used to rugby means it will change a little bit, but in terms of running rugby to play on, It's a first-class field of play. And there is Isiekwe back on for Saracens, so 15 against 15. Saracens played the second half, most of it, with 14 players after even Van Zyl was red-carded. A heavy collision on Craig Gilroy in the air.
Okay then, legs off, here's our mark.
He had a disciplinary hearing earlier today, and he was given a 4-match ban, so this match, the first of those 4.
Come on. Get back in now. We're back in. All of us back in here. Okay. This is the last conversation. Please, this is the mark. Respect the mark. Go left. I know, well then take your own distance. We don't step
Ulster's front row facing off against Saracens this evening. Andrew Warwick, Bradley Roberts, we've seen a lot of him, and Marty Moore.
Crouch! Bind!
Alongside Nick Carney is Alan O'Connor, the captain in the number 4 shirt.
Okay!
The longest standing players on the pitch at the club, joined in 2012. Admired by all for his leadership skills. Alan Davies has put that on a sixpence. Really sharpens the focus, having to practice box kicks on this pitch when fans are lining up just 4 metres away. Alan Davies and Alex Lewington practicing together were on point throughout the warm-up. Lewington takes that and gets lucky with Earl up in support. Tomkins just shakes and then gets the ball away. Rotimi Segun reclaims or can't quite. Warwick is turned over, Saracens, and Swinson can peel away. Jackson Ray, Davies, Tomkins, Lozowski. Isiekwe doesn't waste any time in making his presence felt again. Tomkins just gets outside his man, and Tomkins sets off. So dangerous from all corners, Nick Tomkins. Had a full summer playing international rugby for Wales, featuring all 3 of Wales's summer matches. 𝗬𝗢𝗥 full of praise as well for how he conducts himself in camp.
Just going to make a change here, Carl. Just the guy with the physio is going to come off. I know, but unfortunately, if your 2 doesn't go on the ball, we're all good, mate. Let's go, Black, please. Stay where we are, please, Gold. Stay where we are, don't move.
Sean Reedy there, heading to the sidelines for Ulster.
That's once!
In the meantime, Saracens pile on.
Okay, now use it! Break away 2! Break away! Get away!
Woolstencroft has it at the back and now breaks and rides the first tackle. Strong, forceful presence from Tom Woolstencroft.
Stop. I got it. It's a penalty. I just want to check he's okay. I just want to check you're alright. It's a penalty, but I just want to check it's okay. You don't know he went down. Okay. You alright? Sure? Okay. It was a no-arms tackle. I stopped it because I thought he obviously had no contact, but he hadn't. Okay. Apologies for stopping. No-arms tackle, I stopped because I thought obviously he was injured, so it'll be a penalty here, the no arms. Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
I think the no-arms tackle was on Tom Woolstencroft.
Post call, on the start.
Saracens are going to take the points.
No, he's already pointed to the post.
25 minutes in and still nothing on the board for the hosts playing at the Honourable Artillery Company grounds. Illustrious surroundings. It's so far
Yeah, they called.
been the dazzle coming from the visitors.
It's called post. Ulster making a couple of changes. That's fine. Yeah, Gareth, I played on because they come up a little bit as well.
The words in camp is that Billy has been looking very, very good in pre-season. Been looking energised and full of intent. There were signs of that last week. We'll get to see those signs this week, but Vunipola, well, he works to a different rhythm sometimes in a rugby match. Saracens with points on the board and now something else
they crept because
to
your
build
9
on.
came up. That's why I played on. That's why. I'm just more worried that because you stayed down.
Alex Lozowski, who became one of Montpellier's key goal kickers last season. It's interesting to see how that might play out at number 10 this season. Such a talented player, and of course won England caps in the centre. He could play anywhere across the back line, couldn't he? That type of utility talent.
Please! Don't move forward, don't get it.
It would be nice to see what he can do if he does get a consistent run of selection in a certain position. If that's to be number 10, then contrast very nicely with the other 10s in the club over the Premiership and European seasons in the years to come. Another good nudge and Saracens go close again. Finally finding some consistency in this first half.
Stay where we are, goal.
Billy Burns, who joined Ulster in 2018 from Gloucester. He's been thriving in the Irish province since then. On defence now as Davies spots a gap. Ulster claiming the turnover, getting the penalty and yellow card. And now it kicks off between the two sets of forwards. I think a lot of backs and forwards having a lot of fun in the middle of that.
He's lifted and he's kept him there, and then he stepped low, so that's why it's nothing more, but he's landed dangerously. It's a yellow card. Didn't see what happened after that, so I was too focused on making sure the play was fine. Okay? 12. Okay, where I am now? Yeah, but play.
Well, Nick Tomkins is going to have 10 minutes on the sidelines. Carl Dixon made that decision straight away, didn't he? It wasn't easy for us to see how it played out and why it was.
Sorry?
A key cog in Saracens' backline. Out of play for the next 10. So Alan Davies here went in. Big tackle from Roberts, and Tomkins here lifting up Bradley Roberts and driving him into the floor, letting him go without lifting him beyond the horizontal. I think would have been that one.
Barney's knock on.
Certainly incensed Ulster's ranks, and they let Saracens know about it. Lozowski goes down the middle.
Oh, now goal!
Decent enough clearance from Ulster. Clever territorial play though from Saracens once the ball was back in their hands.
Oh, playing on, stand in the back. Play on.
Some firepower on the bench for Saracens. Andy Christie there, and Ben Harris as well, who scored a hat-trick last week, coming off the bench then. Everything fell for the GB7's flyer. May well be the end of Ben Harris's Sevens career for now, having signed on at Saracens for a little while longer. We'll have to see. It's been a great sign of how Sevens has been a fantastic pathway for a player to get back into 15s, and
First man stole the ball.
Harris has benefited from it. Lewington now gets the ball to Vunipola, and Davies. Lozowski missed out, or missing out. Don Morris under all sorts of pressure.
Perfect timing.
𝗟𝗓𝗏 it was who got his opposite man onto the floor. Lozowski goes right across the pitch, and Lewington can't take it. Gilroy hacks on and is in a foot race with Earl. Gilroy gets in there, and Earl football tackles the ball out. Some smart players, both players went to hack on. But Earl risking this if Gilroy was going for the pickup. Very sure of it here. Instead, Gilroy wasn't, and Earl's left foot puts the ball out.
All I saw was them tips. No, but on the tackle, it was tips. And that just put one more.
He's played well, hasn't he? Bradley Roberts. Type of player who you knew would take this opportunity.
Let's go then, please. How many in the line out? 6. Yep.
Now with the line out.
Lock on. Take him back in. Take him back in. No, the line out was outside. Take him back in. Okay, that's true. 1 second, sorry. There's a knock on first. Outside.
Sorry, mate, I
Very good point.
didn't see it.
It will stay as Saracens' ball, but as you heard, the ball taken back into the 22.
Very good point.
Ulster's knock on is the root cause.
Come, Ralphie! Come, Ralphie! Crouch! Bind! Set!
Alex Lewington this time clears, and that's a canny kick too.
Take him back!
Ulster on the counter, really nice, and Vunipola is worked over in the midfield. 𝗟𝗓𝗏 it was again, the outside centre. But after that, Saracens slap the chains on and have a penalty on the floor. If you're just joining us and seeing the scoreline and thinking, oh, didn't expect this afternoon after last week, Ulster have been worthy of their 2 tries, really played well, attacked with precision and caught Saracens by surprise on their first try. Craig Gilroy scoring their second, the man with the ball in his hand. First try coming from Nick Timoney. The Saracens have had their chances, certainly, but Ulster's defence has been much more at the races than it was last week. And those internationals which they brought back in, making a difference,
That's
providing more
one.
of a threat.
Move back 9. Now come.
But in general, there's just a degree
Now
of
use black.
energy about Ulster which wasn't there last week.
Yes, please, Alan.
Davies goes, and Lewington again. Interesting to see how Lewington is being deployed as first receiver. Quite often in this first half, Adams-Hale shunted sideways, but keeps the ball. Rotimi Segun enters the fray. Calls that he lost it, and penalty given. Holding on. And Ulster waste no time in relieving their lines. Two Jacklers onto the ball after Timoney's tackle. Segun had to concede possession. Maitland now makes a hit with Segun. Burns using his forwards so well. This is one of the new men on for Ulster. McIlroy.
No, it's play on, we'll charge down.
Good positioning from Maitland.
Hold now, hold black, stay where we are.
Takes the direct route all the way through and beyond the dead ball line.
Come back.
So we'll come all the way back. Would have been interesting had that stopped short of the dead ball line, what Ulster would have done, because that's when the new rules would have come in as well. If Ulster has put the ball down, they would only have been allowed to have a goal line dropout rather than a 22 dropout, as the rules were previously.
Here's a mark.
But that option taken away from them. I'm sure Craig Gilroy was pleased for that. By Maitland putting too much on it. And those sort of errors which have held Saracens back in this first half. Something's good, and then something's handing momentum back to Ulster. And Ulster on the attack again, and doing so with intelligence. Don Morris eventually taking down Ethan McIlroy. Cooney spreads to Burns again. Warwick is the loose head prop who offers himself well, and then more good running from 𝗟𝗓𝗄. Bradley Roberts comes again. He's been the most industrious of Ulster's forwards across the course of this match, and Ulster could be in again here, looking for Gilroy. Baloucoune was in support.
Ball still in.
Ulster knocking on the door again. Spinning out of the tackle, Marty Moore. Saracens now get to the pace with defence, so Burns goes over the top, it's perfectly weighted, spinning to whom? Moore can't take it. And Saracens survive. Desperate defence, but they do the job. Ulster asking so many questions of the North Londoners here. Segun did well to recover, and so did Alan Davies. There was some fine scampering across from the Welsh scrum half. And even if that ball had been taken by Stuart Moore, Segun was onto him, so Saracens covering the threat well. Mark McCall is just behind the try line where that action took place. Living and breathing every moment.
Stand back on, here's a mark. That ball, knock on.
The yellow bibs of the Saracens bench. It's quite a fancy bench this evening, isn't it? Ballroom chairs. Tomkins still in the bin for another 2 minutes and a half.
Set.
5 minutes remaining of half time.
You're over the ball, but he's in the way. 20 seconds.
No doubt about it, Saracens were expecting
Fins back on, mate.
much more of a contest from Ulster this evening, given the selections and the internationals which the Northern Irish province brought back in.
Time's yours,
Relishing the fact that they've been put under a little bit of pressure
Affecting the setup.
ahead of playing Bristol Bears in their first Premiership match on the 17th of September.
Okay, that was thrown across, landing on the lifter. Thrown across, landing on the lifter, splitting the seam.
If you're waiting to see Saracens at home at the 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 Stadium, then unfortunately there is a little bit of a wait on to see the men in action. Their first home match of the season is their third round of the Premiership against Newcastle Falcons on the 9th of October. It's a calendar month away from today. Bristol Bears away and then Leicester Tigers away in the first two rounds of the Premiership. Bradley Roberts again collects the ball. Splendid first half that he's having. Good hands onto Jones. Slight fellow, but carries with intent. Don Morris hits with intent. That was good from the outside centre.
No, stay where you are.
Turnover Saracens, Maitland.
Hold it
Davies
front back. Hey, wingers are on.
comes off the boot awkwardly and Gilroy collects. Says, let's have half time, please. Ulster bank 14 points to 3 and a splendid first half from the visiting Northern Irishman. Saracens yet to cross the line. 2 yellow cards, first for Nick Isiekwe and then secondly for Nick Tomkins. Allowed the likes of Craig Gilroy the space to cross the line, as well as Nick Timoney, Ulster's number 8. And there were flashes of excitement across Saracens' forward pack and in the backs as well, but nothing amounting to crossing the whitewash. Certainly a frustrating half for those watching on here at the HAC. They've come to see Saracens in the city and they've seen Ulster having by far the better of the first 40 minutes. Kickoff has only just begun, not 30 seconds of action has yet taken place. Second half at the Honourable Artillery Company grounds in central London. Ulster leading 14-3 after putting together a very strong first half in defence and then taking their opportunities in attack. They looked devastating at times. Signs that Saracens were putting together some consistency towards the end of the first half. A couple of yellow cards holding them back though, Nick Isiekwe and Nick Tomkins. But those two players back on the field, 15 on 15 again, and a couple of changes from Saracens, and the biggest change being everyone on the same page all of a sudden. Ralph Adams-Hale. Sam Bryan is the new man on at 9. That's interesting. Throwing the keys to the number 9 jersey for this second half. Alex Lozowski hit hard, the number 10. Ben Earl hitting hard, knocking over John Cooney in the contact. Adams-Hale again, can't take it with him.
All play on.
And Ulster managed to escape. Billy Vunipola shakes to go on the inside, but shoulders on himself. Now Alex Lewington spots a gap. Maitland was there. Didn't manage managed to find his fullback, Marco Riccioni. He is mob-handedly put to the ground.
Really well, but you've ripped it forward. I know. The ball's not even available.
Ďaňoš explaining all his decisions this afternoon, which is one of the fixtures of all the referees we get at Premiership level and international level. It's one of the things which World Rugby encouraged them to do, to explain their decisions for the benefit of everyone listening on at home. Explaining that time that the ball was ripped forward and therefore it is a knock-on. And we think we have seen a bit of rugby law history, local history perhaps, local to English rugby. The first goal line dropout of the season. Early on in the first half, it almost went by unnoticed. Ďaňoš called it.
Set. Yes,
So Sam Bryan at the base, the young scrum half takes the ball off Billy Vunipola, and then Saracens wrap around 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏. One of the changes at half time, but doesn't secure the ball for his team, and Ulster again so smart on the floor. A lot more zip to Saracens' attack, no doubt about that, but 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗪𝗏𝗏 having to take that high, and difficult to see how on earth Ulster put pressure on there. According to 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗪𝗏𝗏, they did, and that's all that matters. Off the top from Ulster and into the midfield. Those blank jerseys begin and the chaos will start. 31 players from both sides able to take to the field tonight.
Take him back.
𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗪𝗏𝗏 back in action again.
Use please, inside. Hold back, stationary.
Gilroy goes off on his travels. Finds Roberts again. That was more good support and intense from the Ulster hooker. And wonders how long he can go in this match. He's been brilliant across it in the first 40. Get an idea of how good his engine is in this second half, and at the moment it is fully charged. Lowry, good step from the fullback and good creativity from Ulster. Ethan McIlroy in the 22 jersey carried the play onwards, and followed up by Alan O'Connor. Saracens slow Ulster down in the midfield. Lowry tries to spread the play. Andy Warwick that time, but back into the pocket, so Lowry will go to the skies. And in the end, Ulster running out of options. Oh, that's gone to the floor. Bryan coughs it forward, and we will have a scrum.
2 gold, please, mate. 2 gold replacement, 14 black. 2 gold and 14 black. 2 gold, 14 black. 2 gold, 14 black. All good, mate, thanks. Okay. Yeah, I'm just waiting for substitute your hockey stuff. Oh, okay, well then you're good to go. Here's our mark. Let's go. Coach! Let's go again.
So the action about to begin, and apologies for the small pause in transmission. It's just welcoming our co-commentator for the second half to our mini gantry under the trees at the back of the HAC. We have Even van Zyl, fresh from the disciplinary hearing this afternoon, and Even, it's great to have you with us. It was very sad to see that you have been banned for 4 games, but this is the first one, so at least we've got one out the way, and it won't be long. They'll go quickly.
Yeah, at least this is the first one. Thank you very much. Very excited to have this opportunity to be co-commentating the second half with you. I believe the Saracens boys will be up and ready, and hopefully we can send Ulster away here with some good defence on the line.
Yeah, it's got to be tight, hasn't it? They are knocking on the door again. Been extremely impressed with Ulster's attack in that first half. Perhaps you were the same, even, but they seem to be attacking with a lot more intent than last week.
Yes, definitely. I think they've actually been pretty much winning all the collisions. I think that's been making a massive difference both on attack and defence, which has been brilliant from Ulster's team, especially in that first half. So that's been very good, and they've been mixing it up, and they're over.
There we go again. Splendid try that. Just getting on the outside and then slipping the ball on. Ulster get a third try, and to start the second half in fine fashion. Well, even hopes that your presence would bring us a little more luck from a Saracens perspective here. Not yet the case, but we saw how things turned around in Ravenhill, didn't we? They can turn so quickly in these sorts of games, and this was a nice change of direction again from Ulster, similar to that try we saw in the first half.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think they are currently just exploiting our defence a little bit. I think we're getting caught a little bit narrow. I think they're shifting the ball very well so far in this game, mixing it up a little bit, and yeah, they caught us out a couple of times so far.
$19 goals is your new captain, mate. 19 goals. Thank you. He's in the second row, mate. And then we've got 3 subs, mate. 2 front row and then 7, I think.
John Cooney again with the conversion.
Just hold it there, Alex. I think we've got people coming on and off. Is everyone? I've got 2 here, mate. Hold on. I think 7 as well. 7 black? Yeah. Okay, just go enough. You happy? Yeah. Cool. Come on, let's go.
Saracens with a task to do. 21 points to 3 down.
Yeah, use it now, please. Hold.
Segun takes the box kick, muscles his way through the first challenge. Now 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, but he's met well by 3 orange jerseys. Lovely box kick from Sam Bryan. Oh, it's just gone the other side of the arrow.
Yeah, on me, mate. Slap bang in the middle of the pitch. Where's 19?
Talk about having the vision to back yourself. It was lovely from Sam Bryan. Didn't quite work out. Let's have a look at this.
Crow! 5! 6! Advantage!
Line straightened again by
21 if you want it.
Ethan McIlroy, and apologies for some of the breaks in audio. Just having a few problems here at the HAC.
Number 21, let it hit.
But Ulster, no problem at all with their
21.
communications, that's for sure.
It's just stupid. You're 9. Put it on.
Ivan, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
It's really good to have your thoughts here, and I bet, of course, you'd be out on the field. You want to be out there on the field. It's precious game time in pre-season, given how short this one is.
Yeah, definitely. We give everything to be out there with the boys in this moment. Yeah, they'll have to put in a massive shift in this last 25 or so minutes to make sure that we get ourselves back in this game, as we are just struggling a bit.
John Andrew taking it on for Ulster, and then more runners lining up Saracens' bodies, and at the moment they're being felled. Ulster just taking a few inches though, closer to the line. Shanahan, this new scrum half, on for Cooney. Shanahan feeds more big-shirted forwards. Blank numbers, high numbers, all running at the ball. The changes coming thick and fast, but Ulster riding them the better. Carney is someone who's again given the nod to get more minutes. One of Ulster's new signings. He looks so cohesive, this Ulster team. Less than a week on from their loss to Saracens at Ravenhill.
Hands and feet!
They might be heading towards an impressive victory against Saracens in the heart of the city of London, going for a fourth try. The poster friend of Saracens on that occasion. Shanahan goes away to the left and then worked on, and this will be the score in the corner. Gilroy gets it. Ulster hit 4, and they look so good now. And even, I guess, the quality of the attacking rugby can only be marvelled at.
100%. Got to give credit where credit is due, and once again, like you mentioned earlier with the previous try, Ulster catching Saracens, catching us on the blind side, on the small side, coming back and making use of that opportunity. So their attack has been very good, and they've been putting us under pressure.
That tackle was nothing more than a penalty, mate. Yeah, tackle was rolled underneath the knee.
Whilst we've got the break in action, Ivan, tell us a little bit about what life has been like for you since arriving at Saracens. When did you arrive, firstly, and how was that settling in process?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I got here, I think, 6 weeks or so ago, just before our pre-season started, and it's been incredible. It's been an incredible couple of weeks. Apart from our first game, I had obviously only being 5 minutes on the pitch, and unfortunately having that incident. And but apart from that, it's been an amazing experience and just an amazing club to be a part of, and I've been absolutely loving every second of it.
And how does it work when you arrive? Housing-wise, you give it a flatmate, you get a choice in that, or you set up by yourself? How does that work?
So luckily my wife came with me, so we didn't get ourselves a flatmate, luckily, so thankful for that. She was my flatmate, so
I didn't ask that question before, I should have.
So yeah, so the club just helped us out to have temporary place to stay and for us to get set up, and now we're all sorted and finding our feet and just loving life in St Albans.
How do you find St Albans? Lovely high street, lovely shops down there, aren't there?
Yeah, it's amazing, and love going for some great coffee walks, and there's so many great coffee shops and spots around there, and it's just so easy with so many of the boys staying there as well. You know, you really get that feeling of you know, camaraderie and family, which you've always heard about when people speak about Sarries. So you really experience that while you're there.
Yeah, it's good to hear, and it comes through across all parts of the club, doesn't it? It's often talked about by the clubs and always backs itself up, but it never seems to be let down in any area, so very good to hear that's your experience. But at the moment, none of that really coming through on the scoreboard, at least. I'm sure the coaches are seeing certain things that have been going well. I mean, perhaps you can identify some of the things that Saracens have been doing well. It's difficult to look at the scoreline and think that things have gone well, but have there been?
Yeah, I just think we're getting ourselves into the right positions, and then just at the wrong time we're losing that small battles. I think that's the thing that's causing us just simple errors at this moment, and when we get into a position we might have an unforced error or actually just concede a silly penalty like going off our feet or something like that. So this is a massive opportunity, and this is a must-score moment for us here, I believe.
Certainly splendid field position. Knocking on the door of the 20-minute remaining mark. Now is the time for Saracens, and Tomkins to Vunipola. Can't get it away, and McIlroy snaffles the ball back. Those little moments again going against Saracens. Just as the offload was tried.
Let's go then, Black. Let's go. Gold. Let's go.
There have been so many small things creeping in at the wrong time for Saracens this evening.
Second time.
Whereas the performance from Ulster has been rock solid so far. Andy Christie heads off and brings all his dynamism to the pitch. Fantastic to see him in action again, and then once again Saracens piling over. This could be it for Ethan Lewis. He came onto the ball at a rapid pace. But no. Are we going to see another goal line dropout? Well, Ethan Lewis could not have come onto this any faster. Super defence from Lowry. Ulster's fullback helping to go under that, and another goal line dropout, two of them in this match alone. Janko Fenta,
tuck to the body, then moved away.
the Namibian international, into the fray, and Christie, I think we're going to say that name a lot across the course of these final 20 minutes. Vunipola, 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗍𝗏, quick hands, and Harris gets away down the left wing.
Let go!
His 3 tries from last weekend would be useful for Saracens in this situation. Vunipola tidies up. Somehow it doesn't go forward. Brian Tomkins keeps it alive. Hunter-Hill. Saracens with fury in their nostrils, bearing down on Ulster. So far the defence from the Northern Irishman has been excellent though.
Knock on by Black.
And a knock-on creeping in. Well, it's getting there. The pace is rising. And if Saracens are to get out of this and nick this win back, we're in for some excellent rugby in the final 20 minutes. 𝗟𝗚𝗚𝗏 there. Well, Saracens fans even will be thinking, we're back. This is what we do. This is how we should be looking.
I didn't feel that actually. I felt like
Is it easy to think where's that type of intention? Because the pace and things was looking much better.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a couple of fresh legs on the pitch now, and like you mentioned, Andy had 8, one very good carry there, and being elusive so far when he came onto the pitch. So that's been great. Just unfortunately, once again, just small errors. Whereas to last week, I thought we were very, very clinical, and every single opportunity we got, we actually used. Whereas we've had opportunities, as we can see now. Saracens actually having some good attack, being held up, 1 or 2 just unforced errors once again. So if we could just sort that out, and I believe if we get 1 or 2 quick scores, we can be in for a very good last 10 minutes or so.
Crow! Fine!
Maybe, just maybe.
Set! Hold!
Shanahan with the ball in his hands.
Loose head, elbow down, tight head's putting weight down as well.
So when you loose head, get your elbow up, please. Long bow.
And even so far, how many times have you managed to venture into town today? Is this one of the first times you've been into central London, or have you been making regular trips across the time so far you've had?
We've been here, I think this is probably my third time in here. So I actually saw the pitch. Like in the first week I was here, obviously coming over from South Africa, we had to quarantine in the hotels for 10 days, and me and my wife flew separately. So she was actually in a hotel quarantine here close by, and coming to pick her up, we actually had a look at the pitch. So at that time, got very excited about the opportunity to play here, but now I've got the opportunity to co-commentate with you, which is great as well.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear where the rum job is there. But we do appreciate it. It's been a tricky one. With our viewpoint, we're very low down here at the HAC, so certainly to those viewers who might be expecting a little bit more identification, it has been extremely hard on that front. We are pitch side at the same level as all the fans.
Hold in front, go, stay, 16.
We've had a good view of the tries so far from Ulster. Big left boot there of Stuart Moore all the way downfield, and now he'll have to do it again.
Out the 10!
This time he goes up high, it was nice. Ethan McIlroy was chasing it, and Ulster get another penalty. Every break and what you might call some of the 50-50 decisions all going in the favour of Ulster, but they're playing so canny. And the likes of Michael Lowry have been brilliant. Ulster's fullback. And so to the likes of Craig Gilroy. Unfortunately, we haven't seen enough really from a neutral perspective of Rob Ballacoon. He is such an exciting player. Right winger.
15.
Made his debut for Ireland over the summer for the USA, scoring a brilliant try after 5 minutes. Now off the field as Gilroy is making hay. Ball comes back on Saracens' side.
Let go, 9.
So close to their own line.
Okay, we have them all.
Saracens pushed over the line. It's coming back for Ulster. And even you're getting an idea just how far away we are now, trying to peer into the action over on the far side.
Yeah, unfortunately not the best of views. Hopefully we can get ourselves out of this, but like you mentioned, I think this moment the decision making from the Ulster team has just been very, very good, and they're doing all the right things at the right moment, and that's making a massive difference.
It's not much better here, so we'll go. Move once. Crouch!
So Shanahan.
Bind!
They feed this scrum again.
Set!
Really impressed with Nathan Doak last week in the 9 jersey for Ulster. Of course, John Cooney came back today, so scrum half stocks well resourced, it seems.
Five man, 5!
Lowry just nudges it into touch, and Ulster from here will fancy themselves. They really will. It was the source of strength in the first half. And in that match in Ravenhill as well, the rolling maul, and they head towards the line. Saracens splintering. Ulster take another. Burrowing through, black shirts parting. And Ulster now have this victory well and truly sewn up. And what a sight this is if you are supporting Ulster this evening. Just monstering Saracens and getting the try. Nice sight for a scrum half if you're behind it even.
Probably not there.
Yes, if that's your pack moving forward, that's ideal. Makes your job so much easier on the day. And I think a lot of credit has to go to that Ulster pack tonight. They've been brilliant, scoring more tries and stopping the Saracens more, and they've been very good, and a lot of credit has to go to them.
No dice with the conversion. He may have just caught a shot there of Craig Newby, former All Black and now Ulster's skills coach. Almost everything Ulster have tried have come off this evening, so Craig Newby's work in whatever capacity has been very impressive. Matty Ray taking that.
On the ground, you've ripped the ball. 17 on the ground, ripping the ball.
Penalty against Saracens, and Ulster again moving forward. Or even let's talk about more daily things in the life of being a Saracens and being a Saracen. When you move to the new club, you've got so many things you've got to do. You've got players' names to learn, you've got to understand moves, etc. Is it something you've done a lot in your career, or is it something which was the first time you were having to do all that? Now I'm just going to pause on that question. Perfect. No, carry on. We have a break in play.
Yeah, it's actually my first move. So I joined the Bulls in Pretoria straight out of high school, and was there for 8 years, and this is my first move to a different club, and yeah, so it was different experience, getting to learn all the different ways we want to do things, and all the different players, and remembering all the names. But luckily the pre-season and you know, getting away with some of the boys, and like I mentioned earlier, being in St Albans, spending time off the field as well has helped so much, and everyone has just been so welcoming and so great on and off the pitch, helping with calls and all of that. So it's been very, very easy to slot in and to just become part of that culture and that team, and just the Saracens family.
And the scrum halves together, is there a bit of a scrum half club? You guys having meetings together, how does that work? I know Saracens sometimes break down into units to discuss tactics, but what's been your experience so far?
Yeah, it's been great, working with Ellard, who's obviously been at the club over the last season as well, and who's been playing brilliant rugby, and both myself and Ruben, both being new to the club, he's been very, very helpful in the way he's been helping us out.
Sam Bryan as well, now on the pitch. You mentioned Ruben de Haas, yeah, still tied up with international duty, isn't he, whilst Saracens go to work. Can they break through this time? Richard Barrington is on. That was the number 17 who was just penalised a little bit earlier, but good to see Richard Barrington out again, someone who's filled in a lot last season in this exact position even as a co-commentator for us, and going down a storm, I think, with all Saracens fans. I'm sure that everyone's actually delighted to hear from one of the new faces in the team as well, so always nice to hear how things go in those early days as well, because it's all encompassing, isn't it? It's all,
number 15 coming
everything's
off,
a new experience.
15 gold! 15 gold! It's the lad with the scrum out. Okay, hold. 15, hold!
Well, Max Maitland is just walking past our commentary position as well. He's popped down this evening. I think he's involved in the Premiership launch that Saracens sent a couple of players down to Twickenham. Bryan plays it wide. Vunipola again. Still that yellow wall is holding. Christie takes that well, just over the shoulder. Nice step through the gap, and here comes Alec Clary. All braided up this season, Alec Clary. Penalty coming.
Too many times now we're slowing down the breakdown. Okay, you have it, Jack? There's too many sounds to start another breakdown. Just wait. You've got to play it down anyway.
Sam Carter, number 19 for Ulster, who is the eventual person who incurs the wrath of Carl Dixon.
It's a penalty. I'm just waiting for this player.
So should soon be back underway. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was one of the players who sat in on those Zoom calls between Saracens and the Crusaders during lockdown, when
back 10.
two top teams in different hemispheres exchanging ideas and attacking patterns, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Richie Mwanga no less on the other end of Zoom calls with each other. But nothing to be done in attack for Saracens after that.
That's fine, mate.
Another penalty.
Coming up.
I'm sure for some Saracens fans there's a similar feeling to certain fixtures that have gone awry last season as well, and I'm thinking of down in Cornwall against Cornish Pirates as well, where just nothing could break for them, and no matter what they did, there was no answer. Sometimes it happens
on the
like
line,
that.
please, Black. Yep, use the line. Hold.
Carney tidies up and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 holds him down. Shanahan.
Use now, please. Stay still.
Take from Ben Harris. Off the box kick. It was good from the replacement wing. Ethan Lewis again.
Thank you, 17.
Now signed a multiple-year deal at Saracens after coming on loan from Cardiff last season. Only played one match against Bedford, but enough across the course of the campaign and in training as well to impress Saracens. So he's around for a few more seasons. And Ulster again. Well, they're going to see out this game, no doubt about it. It's
let's go in goal. Let's
7
go.
minutes or so remaining.
Let's go straight in. Good picture this side this time. Let's go, Black. Let's go, gold. Oh, sorry.
Just time to also mark your card as well for those of you listening along and thinking of Saracens games coming up. There is, of course, a Saracens fixture at home coming up much sooner than the 9th of October, which I said in the first half. That's the Newcastle Falcons men's home match, but of course on the 18th of September at the Stonex Stadium, Saracens against Loughborough Lightning in the Allianz Premier 15s. So that is the first home game of the season. Here goes Charlie Watson, gets the offload, Halls to get back again. How do they do that every single time in this contest?
Let go.
They have found their way to claw the ball back. Lovely break,
nice
though.
black ball. It's black ball, leave it.
Saracens still with it. Christie steps out of the first. Now into contact again. Fenta. And Hunter-Hill. Doesn't get yards on that occasion.
Ball was out.
Hunter-Hill.
Ball was clearly out.
Sean Raffel had a really good season last year in the 20 jersey. Clary. Ulster reading Saracens' attacking plays blow for blow at the moment. Something out of the blue required. There's a yellow card coming. Carl Dixon sends a player to the bin, and it's going to be an Ulster player, so 15 against 14 for these remaining 6 minutes or so. And can the Saracens pack conjure up a pushover try or back something a little more glitzy. Lovely break that, isn't it, from Charlie Watson. Just moments ago, Christie rises really high.
That's one, backwards.
Brian with options behind the rolling maul. Wants a few more numbers, and Harris joins in.
Three.
Ulster have stemmed it though. Kipoku tidies up and almost wrestles himself free.
Three. And no, just make some more. Time.
We'll have a little stoppage here. And Ivan, your take on that? Those last couple of minutes from Saracens? They're looking a little bit better.
Yes, hopefully we can get away with some points here and make sure we get over the white line. Obviously not the performance we were after tonight, and I'm pretty sure the boys will want to make sure we finish it on a high note.
Yeah, just pre-season, of course, and I guess it means for Bristol Bears, who may well be trying to get the tape of this match and looking at it and analysing it, they're not going to see much into it, are they? That's one of the good things about this match for that opening night at Ashton Gate.
Yes, I think just like you mentioned now, it's a warm-up game, and the whole idea of this is obviously to see what we need to work on, what we need to get right before the season starts. And last week there was a lot of things we got right and a lot of things we had to work on, and this will just give us another bit of information regarding what we need to do to improve, to make sure that we perform when it's necessary.
Yeah, there will be a tough build-up in training for everyone after this. I don't know how it works. I know Mark McCall is the most foremost and forward-thinking of DORs. He said in his pre-match interview just how he doesn't think in terms of winning the Premiership or winning a cup. It's just not at all how the club approaches a season. It's about the collective and the feeling in the group, and being a player within that environment must be. Is it the same in all clubs? Is it different here? Lovely spun out to Segun. We should just keep our eyes peeled in case this wonderful winger can conjure something at the death. Vunipola out to Watson, who delays the pass nicely, showing himself to be a real talented operator in the centre. Charlie Watson in the 23 jersey for Saracens. Alec Clary, his sort of range. Brian and Richard Barrington knocks away the first. Kipoku goes round the corner, reaches out for the line. It's going to spill forward and knock on again.
It was over the line.
Well, without a doubt, there's been a heavy slice of misfortune for Saracens as they've attacked this evening. But Ulster's defence, it has to be given every credit as well.
Gone and drop out. Knocks on over the line.
Yeah, they're coming my way.
I don't know.
Okay, happy?
It's my turn.
Okay. Goal line drop out.
Ethan Lewis just gets a nod from the medics. No problems with him.
Sorry. Extra behind.
So the knock-on happens. So for the third time in the match, well, we've been treated to plenty of goal line dropouts. And even, am I right in saying that you would have been playing under these rules for a while?
Tackle!
No, actually, it's pretty new, and it's new to. Oh, that was just a massive hit. It's pretty new to all of us, so interesting to see it happening this often in this game.
Barrington looks for the offload, decides to keep it with him. 𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗏, well watched. Try scorer last week. Ulster with another penalty. It has been Ulster's afternoon.
I don't know if it's
Right from
Stengo's or
the off, they were
I
in
can't judge that.
such good form, although Saracens,
20 seconds.
with that early attack, 5 minutes worth of possession, and they didn't manage to score, and from there Ulster have never looked back. Not that they've run away with it, they've worked for every try. Every moment in the match has been hard fought. And coming out on the right side of this result, 33-3, goodness me. And we're heading into the United Rugby Championship. Coming up for them in a few weeks in fine form. They were second in their conference last year to Leinster.
Okay, let's go.
And
Thanks for roll.
surely feeling confident about their fortunes this season coming. Ian Madigan played well last week. So important to this side. So maybe another chance for Ulster. Just as this match edges towards its conclusion, it won't be. So, there we are. Ulster have the victory against Saracens in the centre of London. Not quite home turf for Saracens, but close enough to be a resounding, impressive victory for Ulster. They have come and they have taken Saracens down. 33 points to 3, they win. And they're going to be bouncing into their regular season fixtures to come.